Hey guys, today I have the Jumper Dart RC airplane. It's a bind and fly kit that is compatible with the FrSky protocol. If you have a transmitter with a 4-in-1 module or an FrSky radio, it should work with it. In this video, I'll do a quick unboxing as well as show you how to set it up for your Jumper T12 OpenTX radio. So I'll quickly unbox this thing and empty out the contents to show you what is included with the kit. So it does come with two main bodies, which are made out of a very light foam. It's like, I think it's called Depron. It's like the same kind of foam that you'd find when you buy meat at the grocery store. It's nice how they included two of these bodies because if you crash one, you have a spare to fix up your plane. Also included with the kit are two micro servos. This is the receiver and the electronic speed controller where you plug up your motors and servos. And this is the USB charger for the included battery. Next we have the motor that comes with. And it also comes with this battery, and it's a 300 milliamp hour battery. Next, we have some double-sided tape. You don't need any glue or anything with this. It just gets taped together. And these are some foam reinforcement pieces for the nose cone. And these are the propellers. You only need one, but it does come with a spare as well. Next we have some push rods for the servo to actuate the flaps on the plane. And these plastic pieces here are the motor mounts, servo horns, and various other parts that you need to put this plane together. And this final piece is a carbon rod which is used to basically strengthen the wing. So I'm not going to go through a build video because there's a really good one that I'm going to link to in the description, but I'd have to say it's not that difficult. I basically just used everything that was included with the kit. It came with all the double-sided tape that you needed to put it together. The only thing that I was not clear of was the orientation of the prop. So there's like a little letter A on the propeller, and you want that to face the back of the plane. Now I'm going to go over the setup with an OpenTX radio like the Jumper T12. This plane requires Elevon mixing, which involves using one set of control surfaces and mixing the channel 1 and channel 2, which are the left and right servos, and mixing it to control not only the elevator but the ailerons, hence Elevon mixing. Luckily, most advanced radios like the Jumper T12 does have mixing capabilities built in. Before we start, you want to make sure you go to opentx.org and download the latest version of the SD card content and load it onto your micro SD card. The reason why you want to do this is because it has a bunch of scripts and wizards to help you create an Elevon mix really easily. So start by creating a new model. It will now load up the wizard, which will allow you to easily create a delta wing plane, which this is. Next, you want to select the channel that your throttle is on. Mine's on channel 3 and an AETR setup. And the channel 1 and 2 are the two servos. It does not have a rudder. So this should get the baseline set up for a Elevon mix. We will have to go into the model and slightly tweak it a bit. Go into the setup, and the first thing we're going to do is give it a name. So I'm just going to call this Dart. And if you long press the enter button, it will make it a capital. And we're just going to quickly do this here. The next thing you want to do is turn off the internal module. We're going to use the 4-in-1 module in this case. So we're going to turn this to off and then activate or enable the external module, which is the 4-in-1. So you want to switch that to MULT, and you want to make sure that you have the right protocol selected. In this case, it is FrSky, and it is using the subtype of D8. So select that and enable auto bind. I usually do that, and that should be it in terms of the initial setup. We're going to the next few pages and see what we have to modify. You can skip the next couple of pages. Input, my channel order is AETR. And the only thing we really have to mess with is the mixer. So when you use the wizard to set up the delta wing or elevons, the only thing that you may need to change here is the reversing. So changing the value from -50 or to 50 or 50 to -50 will reverse the direction of your plane. So if you notice that when you move your stick right, it goes to the left, then you will have to modify these values here. Change it from a positive value to a negative value. So in my case, I have to change the channel 2 here from a negative value, sorry, from a positive value to a negative value. I also have to do this for the aileron left. So I have to change it from a positive 50 value to a -50 value. And for this particular Elevon mix, this is what I have. So you may have to experiment a little with it to get your controls working in the right directions. So the very last thing I want to show you how to set up is a throttle cutoff switch, as well as assigning voices to a certain switch. So we're going to do that in the special functions. So I'm going to use the SH switch here to essentially create a throttle cutoff by overriding the throttle channel. In my case, it's channel 3 with a -100 value. When the switch is in a certain position, the throttle is in a negative value so that it can't turn. So this is usually a good idea if you have like an airplane or something where you don't want to accidentally flick the throttle and cause the props to spin. And at the same time, we're going to program the switch to also play an audio track to let you know that it is either active or disabled. We'll also be assigning that track to the same switch. So when you do flick it in the on position or activate the throttle, it will say throttle active. And when you flick it in the other direction, it will say throttle disabled. You can assign multiple functions to the same switch, so you could have it override several channels with the flick of one switch or play multiple audio tracks as well. So to bind your transmitter to your airplane, what you have to do is plug up your battery and just scroll down to the bind option here and hit enter, and that should start the binding process. After binding, you want to make sure that your control surfaces are working in the right direction. We can also test the special functions that we programmed into the switch, as well as the motor by pulling the throttle stick up and down. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hopefully this gives you an idea how to set up your Jumper T12 and the Jumper Dart RC airplane.